more and more of these Congress people and others, they just keep saying the Constitution doesn't matter, that it has no binding power, that it's bad. I see judges saying it. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're really, I guess, trying to acclimate us to real tyranny, Dr. Roberts.
Certainly looks that way, Alex, and it's quite amazing. The Constitution doesn't seem to have any friends except perhaps the American Civil Liberties Union. The law schools are quiet, the bar associations are quiet. For the most part, the judiciary is quiet. So when people give up on democracy and they give up on the Constitution, then the only thing that's left is dictatorship. And generally they are tyrannical for anyone who gets in their way or is inclined to challenge them.
What did you think of the reports in the last 2 weeks confirming that Homeland Security was not just only spying on members of the legislature of Pennsylvania, but also in Tennessee and in Florida, actually sending spies into Ron Paul Campaign for Liberty meetings?
Well, if all these reports are correct, then quite clearly they're going to shut down any dissent and shut down any protections that people have in the Bill of Rights against the government. You know, Alex, look, what was probably the most awful thing that happened? When Obama was elected with very large majority and a lot of support, and the Democrats had the House and the Senate. And all of those Democrats have the responsibility to uphold the laws of the United States. They're all sworn to uphold the Constitution. And yet their leader in the House, Nancy Pelosi, said over and over and over that they're not going to look into the crimes of the Bush regime, despite the fact that the crimes were well known. They're unequivocal. We know for a fact that the Bush regime violated American statutory law by spying on Americans without obtaining warrants from the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. We know for a fact that Bush, who admits it in his book, violated U.S. statutory law by torturing people, which is against American law. We know for a fact that the Bush regime committed treason. They led us into a war based on lies and deceptions. This is high treason. It's also a war crime. So we have these enormous crimes, and nothing was done. So what the Obama regime did was to accept the precedent established by the Bush-Cheney regime that the executive branch is not accountable to law. Now, if you compare this to just a few years ago when the House of Representatives impeached Bill Clinton because he had a sexual affair with a White House intern and lied about it. And you go back a few more years, and Nixon had to resign because he lied about when he first learned about the Watergate burglary. So you've seen a tremendous collapse in the authority of law in the United States, in the accountability of government. And as you say, that's the end of the Constitution. And we see also all sorts of clampdowns on dissent, so that now dissent is the equivalent of terrorism or aid to terrorists. It's extremism. They're investigating war protesters. They're spying on everybody. So it's a police state.
sell us on the evil. Bush comes out and says, yeah, I ordered torture, I do it again. So how do the people that got caught go to prison, but then the people that give the order don't? I mean, I think that makes your point for you.
I suppose that the executive branch feels it can do whatever it wants. Look, Alex, I saw a report today, the latest poll of public support or lack thereof for the war in Afghanistan. Over 2/3 of the American people have turned against this war. And yet we had the Pentagon chief, Gates, the other day say that it doesn't matter what the American people think. We're committed to this war, and we don't care what the people think. And yet, while they say that out of one side of the mouth, out of the other side of the mouth, they talk about we have freedom and democracy. Well, you don't have democracy when the government is immune to public opinion. So, and you can find this immunity to public opinion everywhere. And you can find the public itself doesn't seem to appreciate free speech. For example, what is the main feature of American public discourse recently? You look at what comes out of the WikiLeaks saga. You have people demanding revenge against people who tell us the truth.
Well, they're calling for the death of Julian Assange.
Right.
They're openly trying to start censoring the internet. That's being announced. I mean, it's crazy times are here, but doesn't it take tyranny to finally get people out of their morass?
Well, not necessarily. You know, the Germans had tyranny, and they mainly accepted it. It doesn't generally bother you unless you get in their way. You know, Hitler didn't put the whole country in camps. So I think we'll have to see what happens to WikiLeaks and its founder. We'll have to see what they do to the internet. People who think have turned away from the print and TV media, and they do rely on the internet, so that's a danger. We'll see if WikiLeaks and its leader can escape the clutches of the Americans, and if the internet can continue to present uncensored information, then we can continue our opposition. Otherwise, things just get closed down. And they've been very successful, as you emphasize every day, in closing things down.
Well, we're in for the fight of our lives, but I'm seeing a lot of positive people, and Ron Paul and Lou Rockwell and so many others that I respect with their historical understanding and their finger on the pulse. Doctor, thank you so much for spending time with us. Briefly, tell folks about your newest book.
Well, it's How the Economy Was Lost, and it tells them exactly how the economy was lost. It's easy to read, short chapters.
You're an extremist. How dare you, father of Reaganomics, speak out against all the insanity that's happening? You're probably almost as bad as Ron Paul or the ACLU. Maybe we need to have some spies come look at you, huh?
They probably are, Alex. But, you know, I don't have as large of an audience as you, so they'll get you first.
Yeah, I'm the canary in the coal mine. All right, God bless you. Have a great New Year. We're going to win this thing.
Okay. Amen.
Take care, my friend. Have a good New Year. There goes Dr. Paul Craig Roberts. What a character.